to my channel. Before I start having a look at all the colourings that I did last month through September, I did just want to say thank you so much to so many people that had viewed my video. I'm just astounded, full stop really, that anybody's even found it, let alone viewed it, bothered to view it all the way through. Amazing. Thank you so much to all those people. So many lovely comments as well. Thank you so much to all those people. I think I've tried to reply to all of them, but I've not been a great YouTube user before, so even keeping up with where comments are, how you get back to them, has been a bit of a technical challenge for me, but I think I've replied to everybody that's made such lovely comments. So thank you so much to all of those people that have wished me well, said very complimentary things about my colouring. I'm quite overwhelmed by it all really, so thank you so much for all of that. Before I even start on this month's been a bit trickier for me really, because obviously I'm back at work, don't have as much free time, and I am not a quick colourer, as you may have noticed from what I've done already. I am slow. It takes me ages. I think about it for quite a while before I do something, and yeah, it's not always a quick process for me. So I'll show you what I've done and you can judge yourself whether it was worth doing or not really. I'm going to start with the things that I had unfinished really at the end of last video. So I had I had a couple of whips, but two in particular that I have done. Start with the one I don't like at all. Start from a positive note. You may remember that I'd started on this particular drawing in Tales from the Forest Kingdom. I love this book. It's a great book. I'm sure you remember from my last video, if you've watched it, I'd put some gesso on this page and I've been colouring over it. And so if I'm really honest, if I hadn't videoed it, I probably would have ditched this colouring full stop really, to because I just haven't enjoyed working on this page, and it's been a battle all the time really while I've been working on it. So I have finished the little house. Yeah, it's a tiny little house. The huge house that's on this page, and I've got a gold background, but even the background has not. You can probably tell. I don't know if the camera's picking it up or not really. The light is terrible today. It's a horrible rainy dull day in the north of England today. So it's not the best filming day, but it's the time I've got, so I've had to go with it. But yeah, even the background has not gone well. I tried it with my Winsor & Newton gold ink. I think it's a calligraphy ink, the one I've used, but again, I don't think it's got on very well with the gesso. It's gone quite patchy. I'm quite happy with the house. The kind of the patchy nature of the gesso has kind of helped create a more of a stone effect really. So I kind of think it works in the house, but you know, a lot of the other surfaces not so happy with. So yeah, it's my first page in here that I'm really not liking at all, but it's finished, it's done, I'm ticking it off. It's moving on to the next one. And then I think this was the other whip that I had at the end of August. I've not done hardly anything in this book, but I was working on this one, so I think I'd left it that I'd done this background, and I think I'd started on a couple of flowers when you saw it last time. This one pretty much is mainly pencils, so the background was Tim Holtz Distress ink and then a layer of the metallic oil pastels, and then the flowers are Holbein and some Posca pen, and the houses, I've just recently got the little 20 set of Derwent drawings and the Derwent Chromaflow as well, so I wanted to give them a bit of a go. So the houses were in those, that I did pinch a pink out of the Prisma because neither of those sets have a great kind of subtle pink, so everything else was those apart from just one pencil. And I kind of quite like it. I quite like how the background works against the flowers. Some of the flowers I think I could have spent a bit longer on and tried to get a bit more dimension in them, but I quite like how the little houses have worked, and for a first page in this book I'm pretty pleased with it really. Another one that's kind of done. Hopefully I'll try and do a bit more in this book, but it's quite big pages, isn't it? So these are going to take me ages and ages. But yeah, another one done, off the list. Okay, the other ones what else have I got this month? A couple of new books this month. Was looking forward to this quite a lot. The new one by Hannah Carlzon, the Witch's Cottage book. Yeah, I've got mixed feelings about this, but I don't love it as much as the one we've just had out. I think I prefer the other one. But there's plenty in here that I probably, particularly for this month, I'll probably do a couple more out of this because obviously it's really appropriate. I've only done a simple one this month on it. It's pretty easy page to do really, so it wasn't too complicated. So it's a gel crayon background, my King's Art ones as well, just again with the stencil brush in the background. My bugs were all light fast and luminance and the odd bit of Holbein, so when I want a lighter tone like at the top of the sections of the bugs, then that will be a Holbein, and then the darker tones I tend to jump back to light fast because the darks in there are really quite dark, and then usually mid-tone I use a luminance. So I do mix those three sets up a lot, and that seems to work for me, and it seems to work really nicely on this paper as well. And then just the odd bit of sparkle really. So they're quite old and I'm not sure they're something you can get hold of anymore because I've had them donkey's years. I've been an art collector for a long time. I have a lot of art junk really, but I have these gel markers, the Pilot ones, but I think I've probably had these 15-20 years, and that might even be more if I'm honest. But they're like a gel marker, like a lot of the things are now, but they have a glitter impregnated in them, so they work exactly the same as the King's Art set that I have. So it kind of just adds a little bit, again I don't know how well it's picking up in today's dreadful light, but it just adds a little bit of glitter where you want it. So I've used it a little bit on the wings and a little bit on the body. Hopefully that's showing up a little bit. And then I have metallic pro markers, so that's what a lot of the stars and the little balls are that are on there. Again, how they're still working I don't really know really. I've had them so long, but yeah, I've used those quite a lot. Let's grab one. So these ones, mine are that old, they're Letraset ones, and I've got quite a big set of these. I think when Letraset were making them, they had a pack of, how have I got on along there? A pack of 12. So I think they were 2 6s actually, but I've got both of the sets. And surprisingly, even though I've had them so long, they are still working. So I've got pink and there's a couple of other colours that I don't think Winsor & Newton do now. That, again, they're only little tiny little spots in there, but it just gives it a bit of something, doesn't it? Hopefully I'll try and do something a bit more complicated in this book. It just takes me, if I'm going to do a portrait, which I really like this one, they seem to take me, well, I'll do a what if I coloured in October, and it will just be that one because I'm so slow at colouring them. It might be nice, but it'd be all there was to go through. Then I've got, I was quite fortunate really that I've been trying to buy these, and I'm sure if you've been trying to buy these, you'll be aware in the UK we've had a variety of issues trying to get hold of these really. So I'm in quite a few Facebook groups, and a lady very kindly said when I was asking, where can I get these from, and I'm not paying a ridiculous price for the postage, she kindly said, I've not coloured in mine, would you like to buy them? So she kindly sold me these, and it has obviously saved me a little bit of money on trying to buy them from the various websites and shipping and all of those things. And I must admit, I really do love them. They're great books. They're really interesting to work through. So I've done one page in both of these really, just the pages at the front. So they're quite fun, and they're such cute little images. And when it's getting a bit, well, certainly here in the north, it's a bit dull, rainy, miserable, it was quite nice to do something that's a little bit cheerful and quirky, isn't it? The paper in these is quite strange paper, isn't it? I think that's the only issue that I'm having with them. Obviously pretty much luminance are my favourite pencils. I'm just so used to them. I know what they can do, I know how they work. So as soon as I wanted to start colouring this, I jumped straight in and really didn't like them on this page. It seems to be, it's very smooth, and I just didn't like the feel of it under the luminance, and I kind of felt I can't get the dark tone that I want to. And I did try a bit of light fast with it as well, and that didn't seem to be friends with it. It's it does certainly have a slight strangeness to it. So I kind of swapped midway. I think I did a little bit of the trunk of the mushroom there and then swapped into soft pencils. So then got Prisma out, my dirt drawing that I just mentioned, and the Chroma Flow, and I've kind of done all this page with that really, just because I was struggling so much with the luminance, sadly, because I do like using them so much more really. They are my go-to pencil. It's sad when you see one getting a bit short, isn't it? But yeah, so these are all kind of softer wax-based pencils on here. Bit of white gel pen, some Posca. I've got a few sets of different kind of acrylic markers, just cheap ones from Amazon, and they're occasionally really useful as well. And then a little bit of Sparkle Noir pen here and there. I think there's some on the mushrooms and some on the little berries that are on there. I think I've done the berries the wrong colour, but I don't care because I wanted them that colour. But yeah, that's first one I've ever done out of any one of her books. But yeah, I love these books. I'm sure you'll be seeing a lot more from them. And the other one, this time, because again, experimenting with this paper, I thought, okay, we'll try with something else. So I had just got the Brute Funer's squares, the 120s. So this is all in Brute Funer, this page, apart from the background that I'll come to in a second. And yeah, I was quite pleased with them really for such a cheap pencil. They're quite amazing, aren't they? I think the only thing I was finding was you kind of I was missing having some really light tones of colour, so I got the, again, even cheaper set of the pastels. I think it's pastels and neons, the 80 set. So I've got those as well for the highly expensive £10. And that's really finished that set off, I think. I think they're a really usable set of pencils, and they layer quite nicely. I've got quite a few layers blending in, quite a few of them really. You can get some quite kind of furry thin marks going through and get soft marks. Yeah, I was quite pleased with it. It's very impressive pencils for the money really. And then the background was an ink. Find it. So I got these through the summer really. Took my mother up to Boundary Mill, and they have like a little craft section. It's not massive, but I got these, yeah, these Sparkle Noir inks. So it's the pink one of these. What was it? Cosmos, I think it's called, from the side. So you do have to be careful. It settles very quickly. As you'll see if I turn it round, it all sits on the bottom. So when you're using it, you kind of have to stop mid-flow really, pop the lid on, keep shaking it to keep that pigment, well, it's probably mica, isn't it, keep the mica mixed up in the inks. But yeah, they're great little inks, and the background got a really quite strong sparkle effect from it that I'm quite pleased with. So yeah, bit of bling. I kind of feel like Clara's books needs a bit of sparkle. It kind of feels a bit magical, doesn't it? And it kind of suits her style. So yeah, really pleased. I don't know if I'll put my name on it. I'm not a great lover for putting my name in a book, but maybe. You never know. Might change my mind. But yeah, definitely recommend the inks if you see them anywhere. They're a nice little book. And kind of following on from the inks really. I'm not a huge mandala person, but back at work and want something relaxing, I've got this little, that's good, isn't it? My little tag fell off before I've even found the page. This little Woodland Mandalas book. I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce how on earth you say her lovely name, but this is a really cute little book, quite fun little characters. But I've done this one this month, which again, it's got quite a bling background. I think I must be in a bit of a sparkly mood at the moment. Normally I'm quite a just colour pencils kind of person really, but this one, all the colour work is Brute Funer's again, and they work quite well on this paper. It's not the most amazing of paper in this book. It's not Amazon printed. It is a properly printed book. Not that they're not properly printed, but it kind of feels like the Creative Haven books paper. It's that kind of paper. And then the background is, I can't see them now. Yeah, again, when I bought the inks, I bought the same pack as Kay, I noticed, quite bizarrely, and I bought these in July, I think. They're Spectrum glitter pens, and there's two greys in here. There's a dark and a light, and that's what my background is. So the dark one in the middle, and then I've just overlapped the light one over the top to create the kind of sparkle that's going on in the background, which, yeah, I quite like. Again, just brightens up the page a little bit. Bit of gel pen work around getting rid of some of the line works on the butterflies and the dragonflies, and a bit on the flowers, but nothing too exciting, nothing too involved. But yeah, quite like it. It's quick, easy, bit of fun. And there's a lot of really cute things in this book. Again, probably do a couple more out of these, because there's some really fun little things, and they're not too repetitive. So most of the creatures you get in 2, 4, sometimes a few more, but most of the time it's pretty much good. And you do get some little coloured versions at the front, which are really beautiful. So if you're not feeling like you've got an imagination for picking your colour schemes, you've got a few of them done really beautifully at the front of the book to kind of guide you into what you could do with them, and then some little guides at the front as well. So it's, yeah, it's quite a little fun book. I enjoyed working on that one. And then this one has probably taken me the longest out of any of the things that I'm going to show. It's just completely colour pencil. It's taken me a while to get this book. I'd pre-ordered it on Book Depository, but they just hadn't bothered to send it. So I never got the pre-order, and in the end I could see, oh, Amazon have got it, what am I waiting for them for? So I've had to cancel it, and Amazon sent it me within 2 days then. So this is all Luminance Light Fast. It's mainly Luminance and Holbein, this one, really, but there is the odd bit of Light Fast in there, just for some of the, like I say, I tend to use them for the darker tones because they have a really good palette for those. It has taken, originally when I opened this I thought, oh, I'm just gonna do this side, and then once you get started I thought, oh, I can't do half of the shapes, can I? I can't do half of the clouds, because then when I come back to this side I've got a memory like a sieve at the best of times, so I won't remember what colours I've used, and I'm not very efficient at writing down what I've used and how I used them, and I'll have forgotten how much I put of one thing, and I thought I'm never going to get them the same if I just do one and leave it. So yeah, I made myself do the other half as well. But yeah, I don't know, this has taken me so long. I don't know if it's just the amount of layers I've been adding, because all the background is colour pencil. It's pretty much, there's the odd little bit of white gel, I think here and there, just to get rid of the odd line, but most of it is just colour pencil. There's not even a huge amount of gel. Obviously on the clouds I have used gel, but again, a lot of the white Caran d'Ache has got rid of a lot of it, so I didn't need to use a huge amount. And there's a little bit of clouds here and there that have got some white gel on it, but nothing huge really. It's mainly just pure colour pencil layering. But yeah, I'm really pleased with it. It was a fun page to do. I particularly enjoyed this side, I think, with the people. I find it a bit strange really. Every time I've been to London, it's always been cracking the flags hot, so I've never really experienced it in this kind of, I suppose it must get like that a lot, but it's always been warm whenever I've been, so this kind of dark, gloomy look wasn't my imagination for London really. Well, I've been a couple of times obviously, but yeah, so I've started a little bit in this book, and then I've started another one. I've not got very far with this one. I surprisingly have done myself a note of what colours, because I think this is going to be more of a dip in, dip out, do a flower every so often kind of page, rather than solidly work through. But yeah, this is a lovely book. It's got some great pictures in it. I did really enjoy that. It was just towards the end, oh, why is this taking me so long to finish? But yeah, lovely book, really enjoyed it. Okay, so my next one is thanks to Colour Me Stress Free Debbie, really. I've had this book quite a while, and it's beautiful. It really is a lovely book. Such fantastic detailed drawings in it. But I was finding it a bit intimidating, really. Because I do a lot of it just in colour pencil, it feels like there's so many little tiny details to do. So obviously she had a challenge going with her Colour Me Turtle Free tag. So yeah, I thought, yeah, I'll have a go and give this a try really. And I've used a variety of different bits and pieces on this. So the corners, these corners have Cosmic Shimmer Opal Polish on it. It's get it out there. It's this one. Don't know how well you can see it, but it's almost shot with gold through it. It's really beautiful, and the shimmer on it really is lovely. It has a really lovely reflective quality to it and a different colour when you move it. And then the inner sections is more watercolour. So this blue in the background is a mixture of blues actually. I have the Paul Rubens watercolour palette, but I've kind of added to it really over time. So I've been using quite a bit of this blue, which I think is this lady's off Etsy. So Colouring Brittany, the blue was some of hers, and then just because I am that way in mind, I've also been trying to make some watercolour paints myself. So this little set here are ones I'd made myself. So I've been using the Colouring Brittany on the inside one, and then I wanted a lighter tone on the outside, so I'd use this one that I'd made myself. Just these little 5 of mine, those weren't, they were bought. So I've been using those on the background as well, and they've worked really well. I was quite pleased with how well that's come out. It took a little bit of time, but it was quite fun. And then all the Seaweed were Albert Dürer first, and then I've worked into it a little bit with Prismas, just to add a bit of darker tone here and there, and my Chroma Flow again in some of the fish and bits and pieces like that, and then a little bit of white gel pen in the sea and the sky. But yeah, I was really pleased with it, and as you can see, I enjoyed doing it so much. I've kind of started working on the page next to it, so I've just done the watercolour background. Again, the green is one of my own, and then I've started to layer some of the Renaissance watercolour paints on, because I just wanted something that was a little bit stronger in some sections, but obviously I've got other colour pencil work to do now on this page. But yes, really enjoyed doing it. Made me feel a bit more confident about tackling this book really, because it's just been sat, not unloved, because I do love looking through it really. It's a lovely book to just view as a book full of art, isn't it? There's so many lovely drawings in it, but yeah, it's nice to feel that I'm making a bit of progress with it. And then the last finished thing that I've done was a purchase from this week. So I spotted this in the supermarket on Wednesday, and it's got quite, I'm not really a huge Halloween person. I think when I was younger it wasn't really a big thing in this country. I think it is more so now. I don't know how much of this I'll colour, but I really liked these drawings by this lady, Zoe Sandler, out of it. So she's done this page, and she's done this page that's kind of another little cabinet of curiosities, and I quite like the little details in this, so I had a go with this. So the background is Copics. Even though it's a cupboard, and as I was working around all the objects, there's a lot of wood in it, so I kind of, when I first started this page, thought, oh, I'll have to do the background like it's a wooden cupboard and make it a bit slatted and all of that. But by the time I'd done all the brooms and the skeleton, and there was already a lot of brown, so I kind of thought, maybe not. Maybe I'll go a little bit brighter and do it almost like it's a sky in the background behind it. So yeah, instead, kind of Copics had a bit more of a brighter finish to it. But these again, all the rest of it is just mainly light fast that's on this page. I think again I did pinch a Holbein pink for the little crystal ball, because light fast Derwent and pinks, they don't seem to love making lots of different pinks, so they're great obviously for wood tones and grey tones and black tones and more natural feeling pages. The pencils really work well for that. They have a huge range, and obviously when you're wanting kind of bristly, hairy type textures, you can get a really fine line on a light fast, so again it worked really well. But yeah, I really loved doing this really. I suppose it's cheating a little bit because I did finish it off yesterday, which was the 1st of October, so it's kind of a bit naughty, but there was no way I was waiting to the end of the month to show. So yeah, so that was my last finished one. Got a couple of bits and pieces that I've been working on and started. to show, but nothing major. I've not got too far with these. So again, I suppose carrying on from my turtle, these books were again viewed very often but not worked in very much, and so I kind of thought, no, I'm going to tackle them. So I've started on a page which I've always really liked, this page in here. I have a few Russian dolls, and so this page has been winking at me for a lot. So this is as far as I've got. So I think I've done the faces in luminance because I like the skin tones in luminance, and I've done all the faces in the ready. And then I've done obviously the first, well, some of the first doll is just in Albert and watered through, so it's still a base stage really, but I've made a start. I've done the faces. I'm hoping I might get this finished this month because I do enjoy this page. I want to see them finished, so I've started on that one. And then following on the same vein, a friend bought me this one, so I've started on one of these this week again mainly watercolor this week. Oh, I've just gone past it. Why have I got a tag in the wrong place? So yeah, just watercolor. So again, some more metallic watercolors in the background, and then a mixture of Albert Dürer and some Derwent watercolors, which I'm not advising Derwent watercolors. If you're going to buy some, I'd get the Albert Dürers every time. The Derwent ones are okay, but they don't melt the pigment as consistently really. I think when I've been using the Albert Dürers, whenever I've added water to it, it dissolves instantly, no matter what the paper is that you've worked on. It really does work really well, whereas the Derwent ones seem a bit hit and miss. Sometimes they work beautifully, other times not so much. They yeah, decide, no, I'll stay as I am, thanks. So yeah, started on that one as well, which I quite like. Again, it's got some schools on it, so I thought maybe it's October-ish. And then this last one, again, this was a book I bought second-hand from a lady off Facebook. I was so pleased to get this, really, because it's not an easy book to get, is it? And it's been signed, so yeah, really pleased. But it is obviously a beautiful book. I've started on this page, which has already taken me a lot of time just to do the skin tone, but I kind of feel like, oh, I've got the hardest bit not completely done. There's a little bit more work to do in her hands, I think. But yeah, I've started to do obviously all of her skin tone, and I've done a little bit of work in her eyes. I've not finished her iris yet, not decided what colour. I might leave her iris till I've done more of the decoration on this page and see what I think kind of works with what I've done, because I've only got a vague idea of what I'm doing with this really. Yeah, and then that's pretty much it for my whips this month as well. I have got this book that I have been waiting on for such a long time. I pre-ordered this book, which I think was way back in July, early July, and it arrived last week. So American Post gets 0 points. I mean, it arrived and it's in good condition, so I shouldn't really moan, but yeah, it just seems to have taken ages, and I could see it on the tracking. You know, Susan sent me lots of really good information about where it was, and I could see on the tracking it was still in America. I think it's basically just sat in customs for a very long time. But there was a period where I thought, oh, it's never going to get here, it's lost, it's had it. So I have started again. It's not a particularly exciting thing to look through. I mixed feelings about it really. I'm pleased I've got it because I don't have anything that's like it really. So we could do with seeing a bit more of it, couldn't you really? But I don't have anything that's like it really. So I've had a few kind of sketchbooks that I've done some swatches in, but I'm not super organised. And I thought particularly some brands, I'm sure you're aware yourselves, that the labels seem to rub off, don't they? And then you're, what colour is this pencil? So I thought, even if it's just for that I can actually see, oh right, it was emerald green, I can order another of them, depending on the brand obviously. So I've bought this, and I've started putting in some of the colours that I have, but there are some pages like this one really that obviously we don't have Blick in the UK. I'm not going to order Blick Studio pencils all the way from America. They may be amazing, but I've not heard such. So I have started to kind of change it. So I have this, I had this sticker paper anyway that I use for school when I'm actually making stickers for the kids at school to put on their work. So it's quite good in that it's designed not to be see-through as a sticker. So it's quite opaque paper. So it's kind of ideal for this. And so this is an actual sticker that I've printed. And obviously I'm going to put on this page my Brute Funa squares and my pastel ones. I'm going to swatch them on this before I stick it on, just because it's easier with having it loose. And then I'm going to, yeah, stick it on there where I've got a page that's going to be no use to me. And I'm going to do that pretty much, I think, with any of the pages that I don't have that product, or I don't think I'm ever going to get that product, because there are a few pages in here that I think I'm probably not going to touch that. And then I've got something like this where Cézanne, I don't know if you can get these in the UK. I haven't heard a huge deal about them. Maybe they're amazing, but I think they're probably not something I'm going to get. But I have got the Posca pencils, which aren't in here. And I do like to mix them with Prismas, Chroma Flow, those kind of things, because they kind of sit in that kind of waxy, soft pencil. So I've got that in here, and I've left a few more spaces for if I get something else that I want to add into it. So yeah, I've got a bit of work to do in here, really, changing things that I don't think I'll get into things that I might want, or things I've already got that I want to change. And the same when it gets to ink and markers, really. The ink and marker section, again, I have quite a lot of pens. I like pens and I like inks, but I've got the Helen Davenport inks, but I don't have these ones. That's not in here. So again, I've got some things to change in this. Tim Holtz, I have some, but not all of them. I've not done any of those yet. But markers, again, I've got a few issues with the markers. I probably won't get the Arteza brush pens because I have Copics, and it kind of feels like it's an unnecessary addition, really. I'd rather buy something that I know I can refill, I can put new nibs in. The ink is of a standard quality, and yeah, I've had them a while anyway, so I don't feel I'm ever going to get those before my Copics. Because I did card making a lot, that's why I have them. I started collecting pro markers again, yeah, back probably 20 years ago when they were letter set ones. So I have a fair few of those. So I've made some extra pages to go and cover up pages that I know I probably won't use. What else have I got? Yeah, so I have the chameleons as well that were bought for me for a present. So again, there's no page really for these, so I might be sacrificing these little ladybugs that you can't really do much with because it's on black paper anyway. I think it's because they know that these would brush through, so would bleed through, so my chameleons are probably going to go on there. And there's a few bits and pieces like that I've been working on, that it seems like little tiny things, but they've taken me forever, kind of getting all the names, getting the colours in, then actually swatching it, printing out the thing. It's just extra jobs, isn't it, to make this work for me. And I've still got a lot of things that I want to change in here so that it works for me. Started another one there. What's that? Oh yeah, the Spectras. I don't think these are possibly not available in America. I'm not, again, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure someone will, but I have these, again, I've had them donkey's years, ages and ages. They're again, I got them way before my Copics when I was card making, and I just wanted better red shades. I was finding my letter set reds, the Winsor & Newton Pro markers, the reds just weren't brilliant in there, and I wanted a few more different shades. So I bought these a long time ago, the Spectra ones, and they kind of look, when I've seen other people's videos, they look like the same body shape that the Blick markers are using. Again, Americans, please correct me if you feel I'm wrong, but they look very similar. I don't know if the inks are the same. I don't have the full set. You can see there's a lot more colours all the way down here on my list. I don't have all of them, and these aren't that cheap in this country, so I'm probably not going to get these now because I have more markers than I need. They are a brush nib and a chisel nib. They're great markers. I quite enjoy using them. The brush are quite nice in them, but as far as I'm aware, these ones you can't get new nibs, you can't get refill ink. So I just used the ones that I had to buy packs to get the colours I want, because that was the only availability they had in this country. And I think I got them from Hobbycraft, most of the ones. that I've got. But yeah, so I've got a few things that I'm changing and swapping, and it just takes time, and it's taken me quite a bit of time to do what I've already done, and I've still got quite a lot to do in it anyway. So, but yeah, I'm quite pleased with it. It's the cover is lovely. It's kind of like a flock finish, and then it has, I don't know if the light's picking it up today. That's so terrible light today, but it kind of has almost like it's the lettering is in glossy accents or something like that. So you've got this kind of slightly furry feeling, and then some really nice gloss. And it's got some lovely bits in it. There's some really nice drawings in it. I don't know if I will ever cover in it. You know, my intention buying it was I wanted a kind of pro record of my supplies, because I've been crafting for so long, really. I have a lot of older stuff as well as more recent bits and pieces. So I thought it'd be quite nice to kind of pull everything together in one place, so I can really see what I've got, what's still working, what's reaching the end of its life, and, you know, perhaps needs some kind of replacement, though it's probably not going to be the same as what I had before. But yeah, it's quite an interesting book. It's very, very thick. There's a lot of pages in there. I'm going to convert quite a lot of the back into paint swatches, I think, because there aren't any paint sections in here, but obviously those little circles there maybe would be ideal for paint swatches. And I want a section for my watercolor paints and things like that, so I can really sit down and think about what colors I have missing. I'm not sure. There's some black pages down here. I'm not sure. I suppose maybe metallic gel pens, something like that, might be useful on some of those. But I'm just going to keep using my sticker pages for any pages that I think, no, I'm definitely not going to use that. I'm just going to keep using my sticker pages to change it to what I will use. So I think for me, this is going to work really well. And the advantage of putting these stickers in is obviously it doesn't bleed through this sticker paper that I've got. And when you've pre-swatched it, when it's loose, it's obviously not going to bleed through wherever I stick it. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with it. It's a nice book to have. It's nice to have it all in one place and a bit more organised. I like the run binding. It's really nice. It works really well with it. Some can be a bit and get stuck, can't they? So yeah, I've really enjoyed having it, and I'm really enjoying adding to it. But it is kind of eating into my colouring time, because it's kind of a job itself, really. It's a work in progress in a slightly different way. And that's pretty much it, really. That's where I've been doing for this month. Hopefully I'll have some Halloween-y other things to show at the end of this month. Thank you very much if you've made it this far through my waffling, particularly about this. I've gone on a little bit much, haven't I? Sorry. Feel free to fast forward it. But yeah, thank you so much to everybody that's made such lovely comments for the first video. I'm still astounded that anybody's watched any of it, really. I kind of just did it because I've been posting things to Instagram for quite a long time, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll post it on there as well. It's just another way to share it, isn't it? I have no honest concrete plans of what I'm doing with the channel. It was not a conscious decision to go, yes, I'm definitely going to do a channel for colouring. I just thought I'd give it a go and see what it was like. I don't know anything about editing, filming, any of these kind of things, so it's all been a bit of a learning curve. I know a few people have asked for a specific kind of colour alongs or advice on how to do a few of those things. I'll bear it in mind, but I am still at a very much a learning how to do this stage. So yeah, that feels like quite a big jump at the moment for me, but I'll bear it in mind. I'm not saying no. It just might take me a few months to summon up the courage to have a go at something like that. But thank you very much for watching. I hope something's interested you along the way. Feel free to ask me any questions in the comments or message me. All of those is fine. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully you might subscribe. Hopefully somebody else might have watched this video. But thank you very much. I hope you're enjoying your colouring. Bye bye.